You heard the president's speech, and he urged every Nigerian judiciary, the legislature, to criticize him on every policy he makes, but he's saying that never stop believing in Nigeria. Well, today I'm being joined by the general manager of Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. He was actually actively part of the struggles and the fight for democracy as a journalist back in the days. And briefly, we would like you to share your opinion on your participation in, the fight for democracy back in the days, how the struggle went, and how will you compare that fight with what we have presently. We've been having protests recently concerning the state of the nation. How would you compare the fight for democracy then and now?
As of that time, it's difficult to actually distinguish the differences between activism and journalism. This is because the military dictatorship as of that time had so much coercion on the masses, and even as of that time, most of the journalists were much more forced by the action of the military to be involved in activism. Then you should find out that that election, June 12, 1993 election,
yes,
should have been one of the things that would have shaped the information of the younger generation of today. Because you find out that all the big nations of the world,
yes,
the US, the Chinese, and all the Asian tigers,
yes,
they all depended on their past history to actually focus on what they are doing now and plan for their future. This issue of June 12, 1993 election was believed to have been the freest, the fairest, and the most acceptable election that has ever happened in the history of Nigeria. But unfortunately, because the military then didn't want to leave power, and power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
When the election was annulled, most of the civil societies actually came together. Then pro-democracy groups started to emerge from different parts of the country. At that stage, the people realized that there is need for a change and a shift for the first time in the history of Nigeria, from suppression, oppression, dictatorship, to freedom, justice, equity, and even inclusion in people's representation for democracy. And who are the martyrs of this episode? The martyrs included Chief MKO Abiola,
yes,
and his wife Alhaja Kudirat Abiola, because with all their wealth, with everything that can actually give them comfort,
yes,
they sacrifice. They sacrifice to make Nigeria come to a democratic rule. And there's need for a change. In most cases, all this change doesn't come on a platter of gold.
yes, yes.
So a lot of civil society started rising up. And this started to include a lot of people like all these Olisa Agbakova, and Chief Gani Fawemi,
yes,
Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti. Then we have the likes of Femi Falana, Dr. Frederick Fashion. We have the likes of Senator Seushani and Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar. We have people like Comrade Taiwo Otutolaye, who would have even been here with us this morning, but was away on another commitment in Abuja to address the issue of this June 12, because he was actively involved. Then we have people like Kunle Ajibade, who was also an editor with one of the newspapers then. We have many of them actually involved. We have even here, we have the Reverend Bumi Olushonaya. Then we have Comrade and Lorem Ekam. We were all involved in the campaign for democracy, and later on the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. These were civil society groups that were coming together in order to organize and galvanize the people for the realization of the June 12 election results. But being that as it may be, this movement also led to a rainbow coalition in what we have as NADECO. This NADECO is just a national
democratic coalition.
So this coalition involved the likes of the present president
Tinubu.
People like Chief Emeka Anyaku, who was then the Secretary General of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Then we have people like Commander Ibiturikwe, we have people like Commander Dan Suleiman, all of them. We have the likes of Chief Cornelius Olatunji Adebayo in Kwaraya. We have the likes of Abraham Adesanya, and a lot of people from across the land.
Reputable names.
Yes, but be that as it may be, for the first time, Nigeria was able to rise above ethnic sentiments, above religious sentiments, and come together in search of justice. And these are some of the symbols that June 12 actually represented. And it was this movement of this June 12 that actually led to the present democracy we are enjoying in Nigeria today.
Wow, thank you so much for that exposition and taking us down memory lane on how, you know, the fight for democracy and the fight for the installation of the freest and fairest election. But some critics will argue that Nigeria does not really practice democracy as we speak, that some would say that what we practice right now is, to them, is known as electoralism. The ritual of, you know, elections without, you know, substance democratic governance. And do you agree with that diagnosis by some critics?
I wouldn't agree.
Okay, why?
Because some of these critics who are now talking today,
yes,
were never victims of military dictatorship. If some of them had been born and had actually been involved in activism during the military rule, they would know that freedom of expression, freedom of any sort, is better than gulag.
So you're saying that the kind of freedom we currently have right now cannot be compared to what it used to be. It was really austere then.
Yes, as of the military rule does not even tolerate freedom. Even when Buhari, late General Muhammadu Buhari,
yes,
before he became a civilian president, when he was a military ruler,
yes,
there were decrees whereby even journalists, for even writing the truth in their listing, they were imprisoned, and nothing happened.
But right now, if that kind of situation occurs, many journalists, many people will rise up and start writing,
There was no constitution then. Anytime the military are in power, there is nothing like constitution. What we have is decree, and the decree is the expression of the interest of the ruler, not what the masses need.
Let's still talk about INEC. The appointment of Professor Joash Amokwito. It has been criticized by many. Many called him a party man because he was in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. But some would say it is not a bad thing to support a politician as a legal luminary that he is, but it also does not coincide with his present appointment or his present role as an umpire who should remain objective, who should remain neutral. But with all the activities of INEC in recent times under Professor Joash Amokwito, how would you describe or rate him? Do you think he's neutral, so to say, or is leaning towards the sides of the political elite?
You find out that in this country,
there's
no appointment anybody makes that will not be criticized. This is because the political elites are only interested in what benefits them and not what benefits the general public. And you find out that he's eminently qualified for that position. When they were even trying to link him to maybe APC, they could not establish the link. Because even if you do a legal representation, doesn't make you to be a party to that very party. And above all, most of them can never establish, all those who have accused him can never establish that he was in Bola Ahmed Tinubu legal team.
Despite making comments on social media
they cannot,
for supporting him.
They cannot establish that even he was a member of the party or a member of Bola Ahmed Tinubu legal team then.
Let's talk about patriotism. Some would say that Nigerians believe in democracy, but the kind of democracy we practice is not actually working for us. How many percentage of Nigerians do you think believes in this democracy that we practice?
Most of the beneficiaries of this democratic era are people that are military collaborators. Some of them were even bred by the same military era that the pro-democracy group fought against.
Can you mention names like who?
Like David Mark, for instance.
Okay.
He was anti-democratic forces, but eventually he became one of the earliest beneficiary of democracy. He became the Senate president for over 16 years.
I think we need to understand this very well, because there are a lot of young people who are interested in politics right now due to what they are experiencing. And you mentioning this, that someone who is the leader of a party right now was against democracy.
Yes.
Wow.
And along the line, that is why I said in Nigeria, there is need to revisit our history. There is need for the young ones to actually understand our history in order to have the projection for their future. Because without understanding this history, this June 12, 1993 was now about 27 years now.
Yes.
And some of our younger generation, majority of them who were even born then, are now qualified to vote. But most of them don't understand what really happened on this June 12. That somebody contested an election, and throughout the country,
The whole country
supported him. Even Tofa that contested against him, because there was this SDP and NRC. Bashir Tofa from Kano represented NRC. MKO Abiola from Ogun State represented SDP. And even Abiola defeated Tofa in Kano. So it was a national mandate. It was beyond ethnic or religious coloration. But the military, in their wisdom, seeing that this thing will not favor them if a powerful person like that becomes the president of Nigeria, annulled the election, cancelled the election when it was midway. The then INEC chairman, Professor Humphrey Nwosu,
Yes.
has started announcing the result and has announced 14 states out of 20 states.
The way you are narrating it, I'm picturing it vividly. Do you think that kind of scenario can occur in recent times where technology has evolved? Then there was no technology. The only way they could hear what was going on was through radio or probably television or newspapers then. But right now, once an event occurs, immediately, within few minutes, we get a wind of it. But do you think we can have that kind of scenario where the whole nation will rally around just one person?
We can have it, because Nigeria has one peculiar thing. It is only in Nigeria where we have that unity in diversity, which Abiola stood for then, but which is now missing as of today. As of today, there's too much division in the land, and it takes a very strong political leader that will emerge, that can actually bridge this gap back.
All right. Now let's come back to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech. I listened to an old interview of President Olusegun Obasanjo when he was a civilian president. Then he was being asked about how to tackle the issues of criminality when, I think then that was when this OPC thing was reigning. And he gave an order. He said, shoot at sight, as a military man. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he gave a warning to the criminals and bandits. He said they should desist from their act. If not, time will meet up with them. Many critics will say that the president's speech just has long promises and results are not being shown. What do you make of the president's speech concerning security?
I can always tell you that insecurity is not peculiar to Nigeria alone.
Of course.
But by the special grace of God, I believe that God will work his way out, and with political will, Nigeria will still overcome insecurity.
All right.
It's just a phase, and it has not just started just yesterday. This is something that has started around year 2009, and it's still festering till today. But I believe that the political will needs to be established, and when the political will is fully established, there is need for collaboration with other nations that have had similar experience with us, in order to be able to get rid of the insecurity in Nigeria. Because the insecurity we are having in Nigeria now, is not limited to Nigerian actors. There are non-state actors across the Sahel who are involved,
of course,
in the insecurity in Nigeria.
But we understand that democracy cannot genuinely function when the citizens are not safe. But do you think that we can say we have a significant practice of democracy?
Let me tell you, if we are comparing ourselves to the advanced democracies like the US, the Russia and others, they have been in the practice and evolving for over 250 years. Our own democracy here in Nigeria is just evolving. And I believe that the moment the country continues to advance, the moment our generation looks back at the past, we will be able to improve on the future of democracy in Nigeria.
Well, I also believe that. But, because some would say, despite the huge expenditure and the security votes being doled out to the military, the police, the DSS, even paramilitary, and even now we have forest guards and hunters. Despite all this, is it that there is no political will among the political elites? Is it that there is a problem with the citizens? Because we've also heard reports that there are also citizens who participate, who aid.
Informants.
Who are informants.
Aids to insurgents.
Where do we place the problem? Is it amongst the politicians or amongst the Nigerians, amongst the followers?
It's a multifaceted problem. First, some of the political elites who believe that they benefit from insecurity. Then we have to look at some of other sectors too. Like, for instance, all these illegal miners and others.
Exactly.
They benefit immensely from insecurity. That allows them to actually have a field day.
This is quite unfortunate, but what we are trying to do here is not to point fingers, but let us look at a practical and not just theoretical approach. What specific actionable step must the government, not just the federal government, because we keep on blaming the federal government, the regional governments are there. In fact, since President Tinubu came into office, we've not heard any governor who has complained.
Yes.
We've not heard.
Yes.
Despite all this, what actionable steps must they take?
The subsidy removal favored the subnationals a lot. When subsidy was removed, the allocation going to the state governments increased tremendously. Most of our governors and local government chairmen have not displayed the maximum political will that will check insecurity in their area.
The number of security personnel we have in this country, many describe it as limited compared to the ungoverned spaces we have. Is that not a problem that the government needs to address in terms of employment, recruitment, welfare?
It's a problem, but at the same time, lack of technology approach has been one of the main bane. Because when you integrate technology into the security architecture, it helps a lot, so that some of the intelligence report will have even been relayed through technology before the insurgent strikes.
We still have that hope. We still have that hope in a new Nigeria.
You remember that even Tucano place were brought in to check insecurity in Nigeria. But as Tucano plane come into use since that time, what has become the fate of the Tucano flight?
All right.